Hello, and welcome back to the msuwma podcast. My name is Jacob Swartz, and I'll be your host today as we interview Nick Young, the Chief Experience Officer and co-founder of Pickle. Listen in as he shares insight on how we can mix entrepreneurship with finance and follow his path into his field. We hope you enjoy.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jacob Swartz, and today we have with us Nick Young, and I'll let you introduce yourself here.
Yeah, hi. Nick Young, one of the co-founders at Pickle. I'm actually a Michigan State grad myself, graduated in spring of 2021. So a couple years out, but have been with Pickle now since August of 2021. So
Very cool. And then can you kind of give me like a general idea of what Pickle does for the financial industry?
yeah, absolutely. We are the level being a advisor lead generation platform, more specifically appointments. Although we are a marketplace for prospective clients or individuals looking to meet with a financial advisor, kind of learn about their situation, learn about the value that an advisor can offer to them. We are completely virtual, so these are video chat and or phone call appointments all across the country. And then as an advisor on the platform, you have access to pre-booked, exclusive, guaranteed held appointments with prospective clients. It's an opportunity to introduce yourself, your firm, present what you can offer to them, and then potentially plant that seed of the individual becoming a client of yours.
Very cool. And then how do you guys kind of make those connections to your clients and then also to the advisors?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the prospects end, of course, it all comes down to kind of the marketing and advertising that we do. What we do on the internal side is, a lot of SEO, ad managers, and then working closely with agencies that specialize in financial services lead gen. We also partner with a handful of kind of creators, brands, and platforms. Really any vertical you can imagine, from podcasts to newsletters, financial news, one specifically in the Michigan area being like msuwma. Our messaging revolves around getting matched with a financial advisor. Of course, that is presented to the audience. Those who engage schedule their appointment through our website. They select a date and time that is most convenient for their schedule. And then as an advisor on the platform, you're just notified of the new opportunities. You're able to review the prospects' financial profiles, select the appointments that align with your ideal client preferences, and then we simply guarantee that every appointment is held.
All right. And then what are some of the criteria that you guys have for your advisors that you're going to bring into your company?
Yeah, absolutely. So we work with fee-based and fee-only financial advisors. They also need to have a minimum of 5 years of industry experience and then a clean standing on broker check.
All right. Very cool. So pretty general criteria, but also looking for very good advisors out there, I'm sure.
Yep, of course.
And then kind of focusing more on you, what is your exact role within your company? And yeah, like growing, talking, all that stuff on your end.
Yeah, absolutely. So my specific title would be Chief Experience Officer. Realistically, my day-to-day starts from anywhere with general kind of inquiries through our website of an advisor that's just looking for some information, all the way through scheduling demos, the onboarding process of joining the platform, quality assurance once the advisors are on the platform, and really just managing their kind of overall experience with Pickle. Of course, also while doing that, I'm growing the advisor end, so marketing campaigns, attending conferences, really anything you can imagine for wanting to bring on new users. That's really what my main focus is.
And then are you guys the ones reaching out to the advisors, or are the advisors generally reaching out to you guys to kind of build that connection?
Yeah, obviously very early days, it was a lot of kind of cold calling, as you could kind of
Yeah.
imagine, just to acquire that first user base, about 15, 20 advisors. And then We were added to Michael Kitsis's Tech Map back in, I want to say it was November of 2023. That started bringing us a good chunk of kind of organic signups. Just for some background, some color on that, Michael Kitsis does have a kind of platform where he presents opportunities to advisors, just new technology, new service providers that are out there, help them grow their practice. And obviously being listed on there, we do get quite a bit of outreach. And then from there, there's been a lot of, especially as of recently, a lot of kind of word of mouth referrals. We have been kind of breaking in as a new lead gen provider amongst the lead gen space. And then, of course, also attending, we've gone to a handful of conferences as well, where it's very nice to actually get to meet some of these advisors in person, show them the platform, kind of just really shake their hand. That's been an initiative we've been kind of pursuing as lately.
Then as you've been growing over time, what's like the general size of your company, would you say now?
Yeah, we have 8 team members. So there's 8 of us total. Small team, of course, but being completely tech-based, that is manageable. It's definitely scalable that way, and we're obviously always looking to bring on new team members as we grow on both sides of the marketplace.
And then, like, what's kind of prepared you, whether it's from college or other experience, for where you are now?
Yeah, I've always been passionate about finance, just the finance space in general. My undergrad from Michigan State was in finance. I did also minor in entrepreneurship and innovation. I've always had, you could call it a passion for the startup space. I think it's very interesting. I've always wanted to do something like this or similar to this. I never really imagined I'd be in the financial advising world. Obviously not a financial advisor myself, but it's kind of obviously as well. What we have today was not what we had one. Completely different. The model has changed. We've pivoted time and time again. We actually were kind of going for the Uber model of financial advising. We had an app in the App Store, just totally different than where we are. But in terms of preparation, it was just kind of just jumping in and seeing what happens. You can't really prepare yourself for the startup world. A lot of stuff is changing. You want to get yourself in front of as many people as possible and make connections. So that's definitely been an important part of it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and then kind of like linking back to your team, how'd you get a connection with all the guys that are in your startup with you?
Yeah, the 2 other co-founders, Brenton Thurman and Colin Hendrickson, I met both of them at Michigan State. They're actually cousins themselves. They had that same kind of burning passion for entrepreneurship. So obviously meeting them in college, we've always gone back and forth about potential ideas and whatnot. I actually lived in Chicago myself. I worked in commercial real estate right out of school for about a year. Pickle was more of a side hustle, if anything, when it was still the idea stage. And then obviously as it grew more and more traffic, all that good stuff, that's when I made that switch to full time. But Brent had the original idea of Pickle. He has a background in project management and business development, working at a financial advising firm out of Michigan as well. So that's kind of where that experience comes from. And then Colin, he is actually our tech co-founder. So he's self-taught, which is actually very impressive to say the least. He's an econ major from state. And he built the platform that we have today himself, and, very impressive. So.
Wow. So met them all at Michigan State, kept it true. There you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then what is the process of kind of connecting your clients to the advisors? What does that look like for you?
Yeah. So it's really the prospect side of things that really begins that entire engagement. They, of course, need to have some sort of interest in meeting with an advisor. From there, booking an appointment is very easy. It's very straightforward, easy to do. You schedule your appointment right through our website. You're selecting a date and time. You're kind of filling out your financial profile, investable assets, income, the topics that are of interest. There's a notes box if you want to talk about anything specific or share any information ahead of time that might be helpful. And then as an advisor on the platform, you review that information and decide whether or not it's the right fit or works for your availability. And then from there, depending on the kind of meeting type that the individual had selected, it would either be a video chat meeting or a phone call. So again, all virtual based, all time we maybe have had an advisor meet with a true prospect maybe once or twice. Just so happened they were relatively close to one another. But yeah, totally virtual. And that's really just how we've been able to make those connections, especially post-COVID.
Yeah. Yeah, I know during COVID it was a great time if you were in the like virtual meeting industry to kind of keep that connection going. It made it very simple, I think, for you guys as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's definitely made it much more adaptable, I would say.
Yeah. Well, very cool. And then in your daily work to work life, what are some of the biggest challenges you face in your role? And then how do you address those challenges?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's more of a team challenge, I would say. But being a marketplace, there's an equilibrium that we need to be at in terms of bringing in more appointments and then being able to sustainably have that managed on the advisor end. Obviously, the prospect is booking an appointment. We need to make sure we have a suitable amount of advisors on the platform to keep up with that volume. And I know I mentioned there's an equilibrium. I mean by that is a ratio between appointments to advisors. There isn't a true ratio, at least that we've discovered yet, just because one week an advisor might have an entire calendar full of appointments already. They're not looking to bring any more on. And then the following week, they might be looking to take as many as possible. So finding that equilibrium has definitely been a challenge. We've been able to narrow it down for sure. But I would say that's definitely something we're forever going to face.
Yeah, and that's, I'm sure, something that's also based on each advisor over time and figuring out how each one's comfortable with clients and how much attention they can give.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I kind of finish this off with a couple quick fire questions for you. The first one, pretty simple question, I guess, but what is something you would have told your younger financial self to kind of help prepare you for where you're at now?
Yeah, it's a great question. Definitely early days of college. I did eventually starting junior year, but get a job in college, try to, I guess, get ahead on the finances, make a little bit of a nest egg, some savings. I know it's can be a distraction at times, of course, balancing classes, but any sort of amount of money that you can kind of start building up on your own, it's very important. Same goes for the work experience. Being out there in the real world is where you're going to kind of get that best experience, especially as you look to pursue your career. So I would say, that's something I would have recommended to myself back then.
All right, very cool. And then also, what brings you back to your job each day? Kind of like your highlight of your job.
Yeah, couple of things I will say, but I love working with the advisors that we have on the platform. They come with a lot of energy. They're all great people to work with. They're friendly, they're outgoing, they're passionate about what they do and, meeting with products and, bettering their financial situation. So that's very, rewarding nonetheless. But also working, I work with a handful of my great friends. It doesn't feel like work. I will say it's like every day there's a new fire that we're putting out. We're all trying to wear as many hats as possible, do whatever we can to kind of fill the gaps. And, as crazy as it might get, it's so much fun.
Very cool. Yeah. Well, sounds like you got an awesome gig going, and I hope you have all the best. Thanks so much for getting on this podcast, and we'll be sure to reach back out to you.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Have a good one.
You too.
If you enjoyed the discussion, please like and share the podcast on Apple and Spotify. The Spartan Journal podcast is part of Michigan State University's Wealth Management Association, a student organization whose goal is to inspire the next generation of financial advisors. The Spartan Journal news team releases a newsletter every Monday morning comprised of financial literacy and the week's market updates. Feel free to follow us on social media at msuwma and check out our website at msuwma.com. Anything heard on either the MSUWMA or Spartan Journal podcasts is for educational purposes only and should not be considered as investment advice.